Ingram's involvement the last couple of weeks, how good has that been to see? Open up the
Yeah, good. I mean, it's, I know the questions come up before, and no guarantee that, he's going to have a big game next game, but certainly we have a plan for him every week, and, it's good to see him having some success the last couple weeks, and it's been big for us, some big third down conversions, and, real talented player, and happy to see him have some success.
That contested catchability in the open field, how rare is that for the tight end?
I mean, there's some guys that have it, and he obviously does, along with real top end athleticism and speed, and so it's not surprising, and expect to see more games like that for sure.
He made the big play out of the backfield wheel route. I mean, you feel like he's sort of settled into that role, or is there more for him in your offense?
Yeah, I think we're always looking for ways to get him involved, get the ball in his hands in space. So there's stuff in the plan every week, and sometimes you get to it, sometimes you get to it and they cover it, sometimes they don't. But moving him around, I think, stresses the defense, and obviously we've had some big plays over the last couple of years with him coming out of the backfield or in motion, and I think it's been good, and probably won't do it anymore though.
You had this snake bit at left guard here.
Yeah.
The last few weeks. How much is that? Hard to get the offense going at one position. I guess Matt was playing hurt.
Yeah.
Difficult to get going when your left guard can't really play that as effectively as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, he showed a lot of guts there, because he got the knee, I think, pretty early in the game and played through it, and, had a couple holding calls, one, see why the ref saw it, but I don't think he really held on the first holding call. And, but, I mean, I think overall he battled through it and didn't play awful in that game. A couple plays stick out, and I think people think, oh, it was terrible, and I don't think it was. But I think our scouting department, our front office has done a great job with depth, and so we feel good about our depth, and I think we don't expect to miss a beat.
At any point, were you aware that he was hurt?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know till the injury report came out.
Throckmorton, Alfredo, you guys call it either of those guys. What do you like about the progress there? How confident are you?
Yeah, both they're veteran players, and both are good football players. So, they both got their strengths and weaknesses, but feel confident in both of them. So I think we'll be just fine.
Joe, do you think it's easier if your O-line works? Your chemistry thing matters more there, so you have to make a sub there versus outside or the back. I mean, be able to lean on those guys, or does it just case by case?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is. I mean, there is a lot of chemistry, to your point, but those guys have been in the program, so it's not like we're putting a new guy in there, and they've been in meetings for years now, both those guys, and are familiar with the system, familiar with the guys they're playing next to. So, not sure the first play will be as smooth as far as the communication and everything, but I think they'll work into it real fast.
Joe, how often you guys shift personnel offensively? Evan and Troy and Martin are just such kind of like rhythm players. How do you balance kind of the shifting personnel with getting them in rhythm and going to them when they're hot and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's a game by game situation. I don't think we're going to stop with the personnel groupings and changing guys in and out, but I mean, everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, and so you want the right guys in the right places, and that's why we do it. So, but yeah, if someone's having a good game, the quarterback's going to keep looking to them. You're going to keep calling their plays. So, that's kind of how you balance it.
Joe, what's unique about the challenge that their defensive front provides?
Well, they got like 4 werewolves in there, and it's a challenge. I mean. And even the guys that are not, the big names are real solid, good players. So, it's going to be a challenge. It's something that, we pay close attention to, and the way we set up our plan certainly takes all that into account. But, it's impressive watching them on film and kind of get caught just watching how good they are. But we got good players too, and it'll be a good fight.
It looks like Bo is in such a rhythm, kind first quarter.
Yeah.
You go back and watch the tape. Is there anything that you guys wish you did more of, or went away from, or it felt like anything?
I think as an offensive coach, when you see your defense playing as well as our defense was playing on Sunday, you can get maybe sometimes a little conservative because you know that the other team's probably not going to score a lot of points. So, maybe excuse me, maybe we got a little conservative, but important thing is we won the game. So, it wasn't pretty. I don't think we felt like we played real well, but again, when your defense is just balling out like that, it's easy to run and try to play field position, and had a couple bad breaks with the safety and a couple other things. But again, when your defense is playing that well, I don't think you want to overthink it. Just let them win the game.
Coach, you guys raised the bar to where it's never been before. How do you get them looking at that as you prepare for this week?
Well, I think, Mike, it's obviously early in the season. It's a small sample size right now, for what we could and will be, in my opinion. So, with every win or every loss, Mike, we kind of just proceed the same way each week. We kind of go watch the tape, correct what's good, celebrate what's bad, I should say. Celebrate what's good and kind of move on. We don't talk about numbers in the end, until it's over. So our routine hadn't changed. We're constantly chasing improvement every single week. We just kind of just it's a routine. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday routine that we like and we're comfortable with. So, what we did last week obviously was a good thing, and it's over. And it's a big challenge on Sunday. It's a slippery league where you can have one great weekend and then next week, you can be awful again. So we're really conscious of just staying even and being humble and chasing improvement every week.
Vance, you guys have done this 6 weeks without Greenlaw.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're working him back into the fold, how do things change with that defensively for you guys?
Well, they won't change much schematically, I think. Obviously, when you have a good player, it helps you, become a better defense. So schematically, a lot of things won't change. He's been a great player for a long time, and that won't change. So I'm just looking forward to getting back on the field and helping us win.
Vance, what kind of point of pride is it the back-to-back defensive player of the week on your unit?
I think it's cool. Once we all found out, it's cool. But I think Coop didn't know until that next morning. So, but that speaks to our group. We don't talk about that stuff. It's so early, man, and it's week 7, I guess, and we kind of just go along with our business every week, and and have great plans, have great practice, and go win games. We don't talk about the numbers and who's getting player of the weeks, and it's not important to this group. And that's why they're so special, in my opinion. It's a humble group. It's a team-first group, and we've got big aspirations, not just weekly ones. So, we kind of proceed that way.
Vance, what does it mean to you to this weekend to have a player you coached in Demaryius Thomas getting honored in the way that he was?
That's special, man. I think as a coach, I've been in the league a long time, and when you meet the special players, you don't forget those guys. And when you meet players who are better people than they are players, that's special. Like a Pat Surtain, in the DT. I mean, he was a special player. Everyone loved him. He was a great teammate on top of being a great football player, But the person he was, man, that was really special. And that I'll never forget as a young head coach. And, bouncing things off, veteran players are sometimes your best sounding board, figuring a job out. And he was always there for me to kind of explain the player's perspective and kind of, keep me on track as a young head coach. So, great respect and love that guy.
You have a particular memory that sticks out?
Well, I think one time I had a hard talk with Derek Wolfe, and he was like, "Coach, don't mess with him." I said, "You're probably right." Great advice. So just simply it's that. But he was a team-first guy. He was a great teammate, and he always gave me great advice as a head coach.
Well, a lot of excitement on Greenlaw.
Yeah.
Being out there in the practice field, but you kind of have to tap down that excitement a little bit because he has missed so much time.
Yeah. I think, if he returns this week, it's got to be in a part-time role maybe. We'll see. We're not sure that's going to happen this weekend or next, but he's in good spirits. He's worked hard. He's in the right mindset. So we'll see, how Sunday plays out. But once he gets out there, we'll feel him. Everyone will.
Well, Vance, you're here 2 years after Super Bowl 50, but they're supposed to have the most alumni they've ever had back this weekend.
Yeah.
Not only celebrate DT, but the 10th anniversary. How excited are you to see some of those guys and no-fly zone?
Yeah, really excited to see those guys. I told our defense, I said, man, let's play well for these guys. They were the standard for a long time, and that team was a special group of guys on defense, especially. So, let's put our best foot forward for these guys.
Adam was saying yesterday that turnovers, even though they haven't come the last few weeks, he thinks they'll start coming soon.
Yeah.
Is he confident that you'll see that start to pick up?
Well, I think we've been in some tight games, in the last couple of weeks, and I think having a lead and being able to rush the passer and mix coverages, mix zones, it'll happen. We're searching the ball, we're mixing coverages, we're rushing the quarterback the right way, we're attacking the elbow. It hadn't happened. I thought we had one Sunday that was taken away from us, but they come in bunches, and right now, winning third downs, winning red zone, keeping the points to a minimum, that's our main goal. I think the ball will turn, and hopefully it turns quickly.
Is it encouraging that you guys have had so much success despite no takeaways?
Yeah, I think it speaks to how teams play us also. It's really close to the best how they're playing us. The ball's not being exposed a lot, especially in those one-score games, because we can turn games quickly on defense. So that's part of it also. But I truly think if we continue to search the ball and keep playing at our level, that will turn also.
Coach, what makes Justin Sternad such a good blitzing inside linebacker?
He's a good athlete. He's a tall, long athlete, man, with great speed and burst. I've been so proud of him how he's played the last couple of weeks. And watching him from our first year now to now. He's a player, man. He's a real NFL starter, and he's played that way for us. In the running and pass game, he has such great physical tools and traits that he wasn't using before. Now he's using them, and he has confidence in his game. So it shows. He's playing very well for us.
Has he done enough? Have you seen enough from him? Whenever Greenlaw comes back, has he earned snaps?
Absolutely, he's earned snaps. Absolutely. It takes everyone, obviously. Leggy. He's played so well. It's going to be a package for him to play, moving forward. So I don't see him not having snaps on Sunday.
What are you seeing from the Giants' rookie quarterback and obviously the rookie tailback playing too?
I see two guys that are playing with great confidence that's changed their teams. Hope moving forward. The quarterback's playing with great confidence. He's making big plays with his legs and his arm. He's giving them a reason to play hard. And the runner, man, he is old school, runs behind his pads. He's breaking tackles. He's confident. He's giving them juice. That's what you need in this league. It's a young football team that's trying to turn it. So those two guys are obviously a big part of that, and it's fun to watch them play. So we'll see Sunday.
You guys have obviously kept trying to find roles for Jade and stuff right now, but kind of same snap count. How are you continuing to kind of experiment with what looks you can give him a nickel and dime and that sort of thing?
That hadn't changed at all. Obviously games do change, but his role hadn't changed, and he's playing well also. The snaps that we've given him, he's played really well at them. So moving forward, he's keeping the same packages and working him in.
Coach, just what's happening with the kickoff return, I guess.
The kickoff coverage?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kickoff coverage more than, we've given up 2 plays, Mike, and you go back and you look at the entire season. We've actually, percentage-wise, done better than, more plays than not. It's the 2 big plays, one against Tennessee, one last week. In both instances, we had some missed tackles, right? You watch the play, there's some missed tackles. And that's really what we're finding out in this scheme is, man, one guy out of place, one guy misfit, one guy missed tackle, and there's these big plays. So, going back and looking at it, I think one interesting thing we got to keep in mind is you look at last year, right, the first year of the dynamic kickoff. Last year, the Broncos were more of a touchback team. We covered less than 20 kicks here last year. We've already covered more kicks in 6 games this year than we covered the entire season last year. Marvin Mims already has more kick returns this year than because everybody was kicking touchbacks. So, for a lot of these guys, it's the first time playing the play, if you will. And so, there's going to be some growing pains there. But listen, the bottom line is our kick coverage hasn't been good enough. Statistically, obviously, you give up 2 long returns, and that's going to skew the numbers. But in these games where we've stayed in and we've won the field position, our kickoff's been good. So we've been fortunate enough in the Tennessee game and the Jets game to overcome those big plays, but that's going to catch up to you in the long run. So we got to coach it better, we got to play it better, we got to fit it better, we got to tackle better, and so that's really what it is. And so, but that's something obviously it's a point of emphasis, and we're going to, we look at all, we don't just look at ours. I'm talking about with the players. We look at all the good and the bad throughout the league, the good coverages, the bad coverages, and so we're learning from it on a daily basis. So we just got to get better at it.
Sorry, you bring in T. Gray.
Yeah.
What do you see from him? What was he for you guys back?
Well, we talk about coverage, right? So coverage is something we need to improve. It's the number one thing that we need to improve on right now. I would say is kick coverage, punt coverage. J.T. Gray, in the 30-plus years I've been coaching, is the best coverage player that I've coached. Last year he was a second-team All-Pro. He's been 3 times All-Pro in the last 5 years, Pro Bowler. He brings an added dimension to the coverage aspect of it. He's a really good, well-rounded player, but the coverage is what he does best. And so, listen, we had the ability to go out and get him, and obviously he has some familiarity with our scheme, our system, obviously with Sean and myself, and so it just seemed like a natural fit.
Sean said that.
Yeah, Riz, I love you, Riz.
Love you, GB.
When Breece Hall stays in the game, the starting O-line, he's like, even my wife knew that it was going to be a fake, but you got some of your specialists in. What's, I guess, the role there of who's out there to identify, hey, there's their starting tailback.
Yeah, well, the first thing I said, we didn't have any specialists in. We had all defensive players on the field. And you go back and look, Cooper's out there, Benito, Tillman, Q Robinson, Key, Locke, Reed. I would say this. You probably saw me on the sideline, right? You saw the players knew the play that was coming. It wasn't like it was everybody was taken by surprise. I would liken it to this. I would liken it to a quarterback sneak or a tush push. They needed a half yard. They got 3/4 of a yard. And so sometimes you may know the play that's coming. In that instance, we actually made contact before the stick, and obviously Hall fell over the. So I wouldn't say we were caught by surprise. And we did have all defensive guys there on the field at that point. So, but you're right. I mean, we all on the sideline knew the players at that point. They knew it was coming, and unfortunately, we just didn't execute it.
With Lutz, the 57-yarder, I think he had a 60-yarder there in the pass.
He did.
With him, how does that work from a range standpoint in terms of figuring out where he's good from?
Yeah, it's ironic. The last time I was there with Will in New Orleans, he hit a 60, and then he hit a 61-yarder off it was a double doink. He hit the upright crossbar, bounced out. So, Will, I would say, likes the long field goals in that stadium. He had a great warm-up. He had a great week. Really liked where he was at in the pregame. He was really striking the ball well. Our operation was great, so I felt comfortable. We kind of go in before the game and kind of have our lines of delineation with the field goal. Hey, this is our mark, regular situation. And in that situation, we kind of talked that through on the headset. Felt really good. And so, good for Will. Really good for the protection. Everybody, operation was great there. So I was glad to see it. But, he had a great kick there. Really good. That's 2 weeks in a row with some long ones. So really good for him.